I just want to know if I'm
Yeah,
audible.
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Let me continue. All right, great. Okay, great. So quickly before Michael comes to the stage, let me just do a brief introduction about what Mautic is all about. In case you are joining us for the first time and you are wondering what is this thing they are talking about that is Mautic. First, let me welcome you to Mautic Meetup Lagos. And quickly, let's do some housekeeping. So in case you need to ask questions, please feel free to use the question and answer box, or you can raise your hand and then you can be asked to come up stage to ask your questions in person. And also, there will be a recording of this event, so you can always rewatch on our YouTube channel in case you want to watch again and you want to share. Okay, so after this section, we have the lounge section where you can also join and interact with the hosts, the speakers, and other participants of today's event. And then also, let's quickly talk about Mautic. So, in case you might be wondering what Mautic is all about, or you're reading about Mautic for the first time, so it's the first open source marketing automation platform. All right, and it's you can self-host it, or you can host the software as a version via Acquire, who is the parent body for Mautic, and also enables you to effectively personalize the digital experience for your customers throughout their journey. So you might be wondering, what can I use Mautic with or for? Okay, so one of the things you can use Mautic for is to track website. You can do website tracking. You can use it to build landing pages. You can also use it to build web form. You can also use it to do progressive profiling, email marketing. So most times people think Mautic is all about email marketing, but Mautic is much more than email marketing. You can do dynamic content, omni-channel communication. You know, you can use it to communicate with people via email, via SMS, via pop-ups, via focus items. You can use it to even some. I know someone is trying to build something around WhatsApp, so it can do omni-channel home communication. You can use it to build dashboards. There's inbuilt dashboards in Mautic, but we are exploring another method at which you can be able to use Metabase to build dashboards, which Michael is going to be talking to us shortly. So it's open source, and that means that people are the ones behind the project, and they are not being paid. So you can also contribute your own time when you are free, okay, and then also try to help. So there are different ways you can help. You can find more on the Mautic that contribute, mau.tc/contribute, or you can join any of the teams, the community team, the education team, which Favor, who is also a co-lead for Mautic Meetup Lagos, she leads that team. You can join the legal and finance team. You can join the marketing team. In case you need to know more about the marketing team, I lead the team, so you can always reach out to me personally, or you can reach out to Deborah, who is also the assistant team lead. And then we have the product team, which you can also be able to join. Depending on your strengths, you don't need to be a full time, you don't need to commit every day of your week. Just few minutes, those few hours that you use to contribute to the community goes a long way, no matter how small the effort might be. So we are looking forward to you joining us at our various channel after this event. So join our meetup group. In case you were able to join directly to Meet, please do join our meetups group so that you can be able to get notification about upcoming events. Please join us on Slack. The channel is Nigeria, and then please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also please join the Mautic community channel. So you can join on mautic.org/community. You can get all the links you need there. You can also, if you have any questions you would like to ask, please, we advise that you post them to the forum, not to the Slack or to the Facebook page. Please do post them on the forum. Why we advise you do that is because why the question you might want to ask might have been asked by someone in the past, and while you are trying to ask that question, you can get suggestions, and then you are done. And even if it's a new question you are trying to ask, it's going to be available for somebody in the future that might also need to ask similar questions. So asking such question in Slack might not be nice to do. While you post in the forum, you might go ahead and come to Slack and then maybe post a link to the forum to the question in the forum so that people can then intentionally go answer that question for you. Okay, in case you need help, in case you want to join us on Slack, please do go to mautic.org/Slack. Okay, so in case you want to learn more about Mautic, we have the Mautic knowledge base, kb.mautic.org. We have the developers base. You can go to developers.mautic.org, and we have the unofficial Mauticast that is being run by AK, the community team lead. You might also be able to join that too. Okay, so join the community on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. We are available at Mautic Community. All right. So, in case you want to reach out to us or you are looking at speaking at one of our future events, Mautic Meetup Lagos, please do reach out to me or Favor. This is our Twitter handle or our handle online. You can actually reach us to us on Slack, and we love to have you join us or to contribute or give your feedback, whatever. How. So, our next meetup should be next month, but be on the lookout. It's going to be an interesting topic, and you will love to be part of it. So, great. For today, this is how it's going to look like. The next thing we have on our agenda now is going to be presentation from Michael. So Michael, thank you so much for joining us today. So Michael will be talking to us about how you can install Metabase and how you can build interactive Mautic dashboard. So what brought about this conversation was when I saw the post Michael shared in the forum, and where he mentioned that he built a dashboard for Mautic and integrated it into Mautic. And I was like, wow, this is really nice. And then I remember sending him a message and then try to communicate and say, hey, we like to talk about this. And he graciously accepted. And I know it's night time, it's bedtime at in Israel right now. But Michael tried choose to sacrifice his time for us to be able to be part of this day. Thank you so much, Michael, for being part of.
Okay, everyone can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, great. So today I'm going to take you through Metabase, which is very similar to Mautic in terms that it is actually an open source piece of software. So that means that anybody can use the software. It's sitting under the GPL license. You can install it on your own servers and you can host it, and it has got no cost to it. And basically, we've been using Mautic for about 3 years now. We service probably 50 plus customers, ranging from B2G, business to government, business to business, business to commerce, and direct commerce. All business from very, very small businesses, from mom and pop shops, to very, very large businesses. We service one of the bigger insurance agents, insurance companies in Israel, as one of the biggest delivery companies in Israel as well. So we do have very, very big clients. And what we found was that very often the Mautic dashboard that comes built in is a little bit limited in terms of the KPIs that a client wants to see. So what we did was we went and we searched and we found this great piece of software called Metabase. And what I'm going to do today is actually take you through how to actually install Metabase on a server. And what I've done is we use both Amazon and DigitalOcean in order to fire up different servers. And I will post as well on our website the full tutorial on exactly what to do in order to get this up and running. The prerequisites is you need to actually have SSH into your server as well. And you need to have a little bit of knowledge to actually read the directions and follow the instructions. In order for Metabase to work, it does require that you have a web server installed on it as well. I'm running an Nginx web server, all right? And I'm not going to go through the installation of an Nginx server, but I will put up afterwards the commands and the directions in order to get the server up and running. What I am going to do, however, is walk you through how to actually install Metabase. So first of all, Metabase is a Java application, so it requires that we have Java installed. And in order to install Java, we run a command that says apt install default JRE. And this will go and install the Java package. It'll take a few seconds to do that. And once this is finished, we will go and install the default JDK as well. And I think that it's quite helpful, because a lot of the times when we find software, there's not very good tutorials out there, and a lot of people spend a lot of time actually trying to install the software. So over here, I've run a command apt install default JDK. Once again, all of these commands will be up in a tutorial on our website at the beginning of next week. So you don't really need to worry about writing all the commands down at the moment. So this is going to install Java in the Java JDK. And in order to make sure that it works, I'm just going to run a command called Java -version. And there it tells me exactly which Java version I'm running. The next thing we want to do is we want to actually go and get the Metabase file. Okay. You can get the Metabase file somewhere on their website. I'm not 100% sure exactly where it is, but there is a command that you can run, which is called a wget command. So I'm basically going to wget into this site, and I'm going to bring down the Metabase jar file. Okay, so it's going to bring that down over there, and over here you can see the Metabase jar file. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go and I'm going to create a directory where the file is actually going to sit. And this directory is going to sit in the file is going to sit in a directory called /opt/metabase. So I'm using a command that says mkdir, which is make directory. And then I'm going to move the Metabase jar to the directory itself. Okay. And then if I go to that directory and I look at it, you can see that the jar file is over there. All right. Next, what I need to do is Metabase by default comes with a built-in database. However, this database is very limiting and you will run into problems. It's called an H2 database. It comes inside the Java application. And what is preferred to do is actually run it through a proper database like Postgres or MySQL. I've already installed MySQL on the server. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go and set up the actual database itself. So in order to get into MySQL, I'm running the command MySQL -u/root. So I'm running it as the root user. And then I'm going to go and create the database over there. So I write create database, the name of the database, and I give it what is actually required by Metabase in terms of the settings that the database needs to be. And after that, I'm going to go and I'm going to create a user and grant permission to that user on the database itself. So there I say grant all on Metabase to, and this is my user, Metabase user, and identified by, and this is the password that I've chosen. Once I've done that, I'm going to flush the privileges. Okay, I'm going to flush the privileges, and there we go. If I look show databases, you'll see now that this database has been created. If I actually look at this database, there's going to be nothing inside the database at all. So if I do connect Metabase, okay, now I'm inside the Metabase database, and I do show tables. There's nothing over there. Once you run Metabase, it will actually go and create all the tables for you. So I'm coming out over here. The next thing we want to do is we need to configure Nginx to actually have a proxy server running on it. And this is because Metabase runs on a port 3000. And in order to do this, inside Nginx, there's a config file, and that config file sits in etc nginx confd, and it's called default.conf. Now, when I set up Nginx, it came with this default file. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete all of this over here. Okay, and I'm using an editor called Vim. However, there are other editors that are more user-friendly. I'm just an old school kind of guy. There's Nano, which is a little bit easier. And I'm going to go and configure the server to actually run a reverse proxy on port 3000. So once again, you can see when I put up the tutorial, we'll see exactly all the commands and how to go and actually set up this file itself. Where there's a hash, it's just it was just testing that I've done over here. And over here, I actually have my reverse proxy. So over here, I'm telling that anything that comes to this website, let the users come through port 3000. Okay, I'm going to save and close this file. Once I've saved and closed this file, I run a command called nginx-t, which basically just checks the integrity of that file and makes sure that everything is fine. In order to get that file to load up, I need to then I need to do what's called a system CTL restart of Nginx. And this will restart Nginx with the configurations that I put into that file itself. Now, the next thing that we want to do is we want to obviously have SSL installed on the server as well. So I'm going to go and install an SSL client called Certbot. That's a free service. It's called Certbot. I think it's Let's Encrypt, and that will give you a free SSL certificate as well. So in order to do that, I'm running the command apt install certbot, and it's going to go and install certbot for me over here. And then I'm going to go and install a certain requirement from Nginx. A lot of these commands I've found by Googling stuff on the internet and trying it all myself. I'm not a programmer. I am just a basic hacker. I'm not going to actually run the certification at the moment, but what we're going to do now is we're going to figure out how to run Metabase as a service. So there's two ways to run Metabase. If I wanted, I could just run this jar file now, but then if the server fell down or if something happened, it wouldn't start up by itself again. So what we want to do is inside Linux, you can run certain applications as services. And that's what we're going to do over here. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to create inside Linux a group. And in order to do that, I'm running the command group add -r, and I'm giving it the name Metabase. Then I'm going to add specific user to that group. And the user I'm adding is Metabase. I'm adding the group Metabase and the user Metabase. Okay. I'm going to just say it over and over again. Don't really worry too much about these commands. They are all going to be in the tutorial that we will publish at the beginning of next week. Over here, I'm actually changing the ownership of the directory opt Metabase, and that's done with the command chown, which is change owner -r, which means recursive, and give it for the group Metabase and the user Metabase on the directory opt Metabase. So there we've done that. And now what I want to do is I want to make sure that Metabase has log files. I'm going to go and create a file called metabase.log. In order to create that file, there's a command called touch. All that does, it just creates a file. It doesn't do anything inside the file. So here I'm creating a file inside var log, which is where all the log files should sit inside a Linux system. And I'm calling that file metabase.log. That file is empty at the moment, but that file will be filled up by Metabase as it starts working. Now I'm going to change the ownership and the group of that file itself. And I'm doing that by using chown, and I'm changing it. It's going to be this, the group is going to be the system log group, and the administrator is going to be in charge of that file itself. So that means that Metabase will actually be able to write to this file over here. Then I'm going to create a default file for Metabase over here, and I'm going to change the permissions of this file to 640, which I think is read and write globally and read for everybody else. I could be wrong, however. And now I'm going to go and actually define the file that will run, that will continuously run Metabase if it falls down, if it ever falls down. So if the server falls down or the server stops, when the server restarts, it will start automatically. And this is held inside a directory called systemd, and I'm creating a file called metabase.service. So here I've created the file, and inside all of the commands and all of the information is also inside the metabase.com website. So you can get all of these settings over here. And what I'm doing over here is I'm creating the service that's basically going to start itself. I wish I could tell you more about exactly what's happening over here, but as I say, I'm not a programmer, not a developer. I know how to read and copy and make things work. So there we go. I've created my file. Okay. And now I'm going to create another file called Metabase conf, which is the Metabase config file. Okay, and then I'm going to edit that file. And this file is actually going to be the one that's going to be writing to the log if anything happens. And once again, the piece of code that goes inside this file is this, all right? And it's just telling the system to write to the Metabase log. Okay, and now that everything's done, I need to actually restart the system log service as well. And in order to do that, I run the command systemctl restart rsys log service, and that will restart the service itself. The next thing I need to do is actually tell Metabase which I need to pass all the variables to Metabase when it starts up. And for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the file that we made earlier, which is in etc default Metabase. And inside this file, I'm going to put all my system variables, my Metabase variables inside this file. So over here, if we have a look, we can see the password complexity. So it's only required, you can have weak, normal, or strong, I think. How long the password length should be, the local host, which is 127.0.0.1, the port that it's listening on. Over here, I'm telling it what kind of database I'm running. I prefer to run on a MySQL database. However, you can run Metabase on a number of different databases as well. This is the database name, Metabase. MySQL runs on port 3306. This is the Metabase user. This is the password that I've given it, and the local host. So I'm going to go and I'm going to save that file over there. And at this stage, we're actually ready to fire up Metabase. Now, what we need to do is we need to reload this file, okay, because we've actually changed a system daemon file, and we're going to use that command over there. All right, so that's reloaded the file. And now the magic happens where I'm actually going to start the service. Now that I've started the service, we need to wait and see if it actually worked. And let's see if it worked. Okay, so you can see over here it's activated. Now, if we have a look at the Nginx file that we created earlier, we can see that I've given the server name lagos.surge.media. Okay, I have not added SSL to it at the moment. So now if I go to HTTP, and I need to go to HTTP and not HTTPS, it won't work. And I go to lagos.surge.media. And I need to add in over here that I have already gone to my DNS and added an A record that's pointing to the server with the A name Lagos. Okay, and there we go. We've got Metabase up and running. All right, so this is the beginning of Metabase, and it says, let's get started. So over here, it'll take you through a normal setup. Let's just put in my name over here, my email. We'll call this my plus Lagos at surge.media, surge media. I'm going to give my password over here. Okay. All right. Now it asks me, do I want to add a database? At this particular time, I'm not going to do that. And we're going to do that in a second. So I'm just going to say, I'll do that later. All right. Allow Metabase to anonymously connect usage events. You know, they're providing us free software. So I'm very, very happy to let them analyze stuff and pass back any system information that they might need to get that can help them improve their product. And I'm going to push finish. It asks me whether I want to join up to their newsletters. And I am going to say, I'm not going to subscribe. I'm just going to say, take me to Metabase. So here we go. We've got Metabase up and running. I think that took about 15 minutes to do. And now what we want to do is we want to actually be able to connect up to our Mautic instance. And in order to do this, we need to connect up to the Mautic database. In order to connect up to the Mautic database, what we need to do is we need to create a tunnel. And actually what I've done over here, so you do need to understand how to create a SSH key and how to configure that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into inside your root directory. Over here, I'm in the root directory, okay? And over here, I've got my directories, and I have a directory called .ssh. So I'm going to go into .ssh, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my my key that I need in order to my SSH key that I need. So the best way to do this is actually to Google how to generate an SSH key. And I want to see now if I have a key over here already. No, I don't. So just give me 1 second to find my key. Okay, I'm going to copy my key over here. That's my private key. And once I've created my private key, I need to actually change the permission on it to 600. And so I'm going to change the permission of that RDSA. Actually, just to show you beforehand, you can see at the moment, it actually has this, it has the correct permission over already, but let's just change it to 600 ID RSA. And then let's change it only to read and write by the specific group. So now what I need to do is I need to actually create what's called an SSH tunnel into my Mautic instance database. And for this, we're going to use Serge's demo instant, which sits at Serge AMS. Serge AMS. Okay. So this is the actual instance that I'm going to actually connect up to. Okay. And in order to do that, the first thing I need to do is just check that I can SSH into that. So sergeams.com, ask me yes. Okay, so there we go. I'm actually in my other server at the moment. I'm going to exit that. Now what I need to do is I need to go and give me a second. I need to now what we need to do is create a config file that will allow us to SSH to create this tunnel into the actual server itself. And in order to do that, what I'm going to do is inside the SSH directory, I'm going to go and edit or create a file called config. And inside this file, I'm going to go and define the actual tunnel. Now, once again, I would love to be able to explain to you exactly what's happening over here. I, however, have just followed other people's directions and questions that I've asked. So basically, I'm giving it a name over here, and I'm just calling it this name. You can call anything. That's just the service that we're going to call. So let's call this Serge, for example. The host name is the actual host name. The user is root. And then over here, I'm saying that from this box where Metabase is present, when you try to connect up to this address, open up a tunnel on port 3307 from port 3306. Okay, whoops. And now I'm going to go and save that file. Now, in order to initiate the actual tunnel itself, what I do is I do a command called SSH minus, I think it's small, big N V, which is verbose, okay? And we call that Serge. And I'm going to use the append command over here, which means take this command and run it in the background. So I'm going to start running the command, and there we go. It's going to run. Doesn't matter if I close the terminal down now, or if I get out of SSH, it's actually running. So now we have a tunnel that's going from this server into our other server. And now we can go back to Metabase, and down over here, we have settings, and I'm going to go to the admin settings. Okay, and over here, I'm going to choose add a database. Okay, first it asks me what database do I want to connect to. I'm going to connect to a MySQL database. This is just an internal name. I'm going to call this Serge AMS. The host name that we're giving, we said it was 127.0.0.1. The port that we want to use is 3307. And over here, we can remember over here in the config file, I've defined it as port 3307 through the local host on 3306. Now I need to give it the database name. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it is Mautic, and the database user is Mautic user, and my password is that. And that's all you need. And hopefully, it worked. Okay, great. All right. So there we've now added, it's adding the Surge AMS database. So it's actually taking all the data from this instance, and and connecting. It's going to connect up and let us use this database in order to run queries. Metabase itself has lots of different settings. You can provide different permissions to different people. You can have different groups, etc., etc. You can add as many databases as you want. You can connect Metabase to Google Analytics as well, which is amazing. So, you can connect it to a WordPress database. You can connect it to any kind of database, which provides great, great value to your customer or to yourself in terms of being able to look at a dashboard, at one dashboard for all your KPIs, your key point indicators. At this point, I'm going to exit the admin. And now we actually are ready to go and start asking questions. And that's basically how Metabase works. Over here, you have new at the top, and you have questions. You can write an SQL query. You can create a dashboard or a collection. Okay, so let's go and just create a dashboard over here. Surge AMS. Okay, and we'll call it, this is our default dashboard. And I'm going to go and create that dashboard. Okay. Now what I want to do is I actually want to start asking my database questions. So here it asks me, this is the sample database that Metabase comes with, and we've added the Surge AMS database over here. So I'm going to go and ask the Surge AMS database. Now, in order to be able to create a dashboard, you need to have a little bit of an understanding around the Mautic database itself. So nearly everything that we really need to know, a lot of the things that we need to know, is held inside a table called the leads table. So over here, we can scroll down and we can choose leads over here. And now I can start adding filters and doing different summaries. So the very, very basic thing that I want to do is, let's say I want to count how many leads do I actually have inside my database. So what I want to do is I want to give a filter over here. And here we can see all the columns inside the table leads. Okay, so you have, for example, date added, date modified, you have first name, last name, email. So what I want to do is I want to see all the users where the email is not empty. Okay, now if I choose visualize at the moment, that'll give me a record of all the users inside the system. Okay, with all the data that's held inside the leads table. And that's not particularly what I want to do at the moment. What I want to do is I want to actually summarize this data. And what I want to do is I want to do a count of the number of rows inside this specific filter. So when I do that, it will tell me, there we go, I've got 32,693 leads. Okay, if we have a look inside our Surge AMS over here, we should see that that's exactly how many leads we have. Okay, let's go to contacts over here and go to the bottom. You see we've got 32,693. So Metabase is actually reading the exact number of leads that we have over there. Now what I can do is I can say, okay, you know what, I want to actually save this because this is going to be useful information for me. I'm going to save this and I'm going to call it total number of contacts. Okay, and it asks me, which collection do I want to save this in? And I want to save this in my Surge AMS. That's the collection that I'm saving it in. I'm going to choose save. And then it says, do you want to add this to a dashboard? Yeah, I want to make a dashboard for us. Okay, so add this question to a dashboard. And I'm going to go, I don't think we have a dashboard created. We don't have a dashboard created. So I'm going to create a new dashboard over here. I'm going to call this dashboard AMS, which is what we call our instances of Mautic, the automated marketing system. Okay, and this is Surge main dashboard. Okay, excuse my spelling. And I'm going to create. All right, now you can see over here, I've got the the first widget that I've actually brought up over here. I can make this as big as I want. I can make this up to 3 by 3 squares. I'm just going to leave it as a 3 by 3 square. If we want, we can actually add in different headers as well. So we'll put in, I think one is like one hash is H1. So this will be, let's say, Surge AMS marketing information. And I can go and I can drag that. Let's say I want to have it all the way at the top over here. And over here, visualization options. And I can say, I want this to be in the middle and I want it centered and I want to show a background on it. I'm going to click done. All right. And then I'm going to click save over here. So there we go. You've got Surge AMS marketing information. And we've got the first KPI that we want, how many people actually inside our database at the moment. Now, I'm going to basically take you through quickly the basic KPIs that we have used with a number of our clients. Okay, and we're going to ask a new question. And over here, I'm going to come in over here and I'm going to choose the leads table again. All right, leads, and I'm going to do a filter on, I want all new emails that are coming into the system. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to do a count. However, now I want to see how many new leads have come in this month. So I'm going to group this column, okay, and I'm going to say group it by date added, and over here I can toggle it by minute, hour, day, week, month, quarter, year, etc., etc. We're going to do it by month, okay. And when I click visualize on this, I'm going to get a graph at the moment. However, a graph isn't really what I want to see. Okay, what I would like to see is I'd rather see a trend. Okay, and this will show me a comparison between this month and last month. Okay, currently the Surge AMS is a demo machine, so it's not really showing the best kind of data out there. But for example, I will show you quickly another client over here. So let's see if this is going to start up. Okay, so basically this is another client, and you can see new monthly contacts. There've been 4 contacts created this month. Last month there were 13 contacts. Currently it's down 69%. All right. So back to here, we've got my new question. I've decided to use this as a trend over here. All right, I'm going to click out of there and I am going to save this and I'm going to call this new monthly contacts. Okay, and then I'm going to put this into my Surge AMS over here and I'm going to add it to the dashboard. Which dashboard do I want to add it to? To the AMS dashboard. And there you go, it's added to the AMS dashboard over there. Okay, so there we go. And we've created now the total number of contacts and the new monthly contacts that have been added this month. Another one that is very interesting is the number of unsubscribes that a user has as well. And over here, what we would do is we would ask a question, choose a database, and unsubscribes inside Mautic are held inside a table called lead do not contact. All right, lead do not contact holds all the information of the people that have unsubscribed. So if I visualize just like this, I will see all the people that have unsubscribed over here. Okay, and the reasons that they've unsubscribed as well. Now I'm going to go back to my query, and what I want to do is I actually want to just count how many people have unsubscribed, and I want to see only the people that have unsubscribed this month. So inside the lead do not contact, I'm choosing date added, and I'm choosing over here month. And there we go. I will visualize that. And once again, it's giving me a graph. Inside visualizations, you can have a bar, for example. You can have all different kinds of ways of presenting the data. When we're looking at data compared 1 month to the previous month, generally speaking, we want to actually have a look at a trend. And over here, you can see there's no one that's unsubscribed over here. We're not really emailing out from this. It's a demo server, by the way, anybody that wants to check out Surge, it's running the latest version 4.3.1. It has a lot of different plugins inside of it. You can go onto Surge's website and you can sign up for a demo, and you'll get a demo account over there where you'll be able to go in and play around. I'm now going to save that, and I'm going to call this monthly unsubscribes, and I'm going to save that in the Surge AMS. And once again, I'm going to add it to my dashboard, and I'm adding it to the dashboard over there. And there we go. We have now the number of monthly unsubscribes. Okay. Next, for example, I want to see how many emails have I sent this month. So we're going to go in, we're going to ask a question again, we go to Surge AMS, and we are going to go to a table called email stats. Email stats holds all the information on all the emails being sent out. And what we want to do over here is I want to see dates sent, and I want to have, this is a little bit different today, email sent date sent this month, exclude yesterday, last week, last 30 days. Okay. Metabase has come out with a new version at the moment. Okay, here we go. So let's rather choose current month. Okay, there we go. And then I want to count just the number of rows inside the table email stats. And that will tell me how many emails I've sent out. Over here, I've sent out no emails at the moment. So this month, like I said, this system is not running anything. So there's been no emails sent out over here. But it's good. It's good to show you exactly how to get the information and what tables to look at. And over here, I'm going to call this emails sent this month, and I'm going to save it into my AMS collection, and I'm going to add it to the dashboard. And over here, I'm going to add it to the dashboard over there, and I'm going to line it up. You can play, like I said, you can make bigger, smaller, whatever, however you really want. It's very, very flexible. Now we're going to move over to the monthly open rate, okay, which is also, very, very interesting because we want to see, what's our monthly open rate. And once again, we're going to do this using the email stats table. What I can do over here is I can actually click in over here to drill down. And if I click in over here, okay, it's going to actually bring me back to the initial query. And this is kind of where I want to be for the open rate. So I'm going to use email stats table, date sent this month. I'm going to do a count, and over here I wanted to group it by the emails that have been read. Okay, I'm actually going to take off date sent this month. Okay, so and I'm going to do it on all the emails sent. Okay, and I'm going to go and visualize this. All right, and over here, you can see how many emails are being sent. Now, but because we've decided we want to see the open rate, I'm going to change this to a pie. And over here, you can see that the overall open rate for all the emails that have ever been sent out from Surge AMS is 29.1%, and non-openers is 70.9%. And that's quite a nice graph to look at as well. So over here, I can click done. And when I click save, it's going to ask me if I want to save it over the template that I used before, email sent this month, and I do not want to do that. I want to give it a new name over here and call it monthly open rate. Okay, this is actually we'll change this to overall open rate because that's really what it is. It's not on the monthly open rate. And I'm going to go and I'm going to add that to the dashboard, and that's a nice graph. So I'm going to put it a little bit bigger like that, and it's going to look really, really nice inside the system itself. Now, we can also go, I'm going to save that. You can go, and I'm going to bring over the other instance that I was showing you over here. So for example, we're over here, we're seeing how many form submissions the person has had. We have a refer a friend. So there is a wonderful plugin that was built about a year or two ago that provides the ability to create a refer a friend program inside Mautic itself. So over here, we're giving this specific customer the KPIs that are pertinent to him. So, over here, and we've also actually joined up their Google Analytics over here. So over here, users by device, is actually showing you information from Google Analytics and not from Mautic itself. A lot of customers like to be able to see, you know, what's my overall send versus read versus click rate versus unsubscribe rate. Sometimes it's very, very difficult to see this in one view inside Mautic. And in order to do this, what we actually went and did was we created over here inside Metabase, you can create an SQL query as well. So this actually will allow you to write any information, any query that you would usually write in SQL, and lets you write it over here. So for example, I could do, you know, select count ID from leads, okay, and if I run that, we're going to get 32,000. Okay, so there I've got 74,000 because, for example, I have not added a condition where email is not null, and then we will get to 32,693. So this is free SQL. And what we did over here, we went and we wrote a query that's actually going to be able to display all the information that's on all the emails being sent out by the client and what's their overall open rate, their click-through rate, etc., etc. Okay, so once we've done that, we basically have over here our dashboard. I can also go and pin this to the top. So it doesn't matter how many questions I have. And once you start working with Metabase, you'll see you've got hundreds and hundreds of questions, but you always want to have your actual AMS or your dashboard sitting at the very, very top. So here I have it at the top. And the next thing we want to do is we want to actually bring this dashboard into Mautic itself. And for this, we went and we wrote up this blog post, which is on the Mautic forums. And this is the blog post itself. And what we've done over here is we've explained exactly how to do this, okay? So in order to do this, what you would need to do is you'd need to have SSH access into your Mautic box. So for example, I'm going to go and I'm just going to go into surgeams.com over here. So now I'm inside the Surge AMS. So for example, if I do MySQL -u root, okay, and I can do connect Mautic and then show tables, you can see that I am now inside the Mautic itself. Now, back to here. In order to be able to bring the database or the Metabase into a view like we have over here, and here we should see it's going to go and it's actually going to bring in there we go. Okay, so this is the dashboard that I created on our Metabase server, not on the Metabase server that we've been working at the moment. Okay, but you can see the very, very similar figures over there. And in order to bring this in and override the Mautic dashboard, we've written up this post over here. And if we read through this post, it says, go to the following directory, app bundles dashboard bundle view dashboard. Okay, so what I would do is inside my my server, I would go into wherever I've installed Mautic. Okay, and here I've installed it at www.mautic, and I'm going to go to that directory, app bundles dashboard bundle views dashboard. And inside this directory, we've got a file over here called index.html. Now, anytime that I change a file inside Mautic, I always go and make a copy of it first because something can break, I can mess it up, and I always like to have a way to roll back. And in order to do that, I just use the command copy index.html to index.html.orig. I'm not going to push enter over here because I do not want to override the file itself. The file that comes default with Mautic is this original file over here. Okay, and if we go back to our post over here, it says to me, go to the following directory, make a copy of the index.html and save it. Okay, then go and edit the original index.html. Delete all the contents from rows 15 downwards. So if I go to row 15 over here, this is the row over here. So basically, I'm going to delete all of this information. And once I've done that, So you can see I've deleted all the information from that line down, okay? So basically from there downwards. And what I've done now is we go back to our post over here and it says, this is exactly what you should be left with. It shows you where exactly you are. And the next thing you need to do is you need to go and embed the BI code, which will look like this. And all you do is you copy this code over here. All right. And over here, you've got your source and the actual URL of the source. And I'm going to show you where you get this URL from. So over here we can see the file itself. And now we're going to go back to our dashboard over here. And inside our dashboard over here, we have if I'm not mistaken, a little ellipse over here. All right. Edit dashboard, right, enter first screen, subscriptions. Oh, sorry, it's over here called subscriptions. Okay. And create a dashboard subscription. No. Edit dashboard. This is the latest version of Metabase. So I am not 100% sure exactly where it is. You'll need to set up email first, send to Slack. On the previous version of Metabase, which you can also roll back to, you have over here something called sharing. Dashboard subscriptions, sharing and embedding. Now, I would have to go, so in the previous version, you've got sharing and embedding over here. I need to go and actually have a look where it is over here. I'm sure that there is a place in order to do it over here. Unfortunately, I do not know exactly where that is at the moment. But like I said, the same thing with Mautic. You can install Mautic 4.3.1 at the moment, or if you want, you can install Mautic 4.01 or 4.11. So you can just roll back one or two versions and you'll get this public shareable link over here. All you do is you copy this link over here and you would take that link and you would put it into this index.html.php and you would put the link in down over there. Once you've done that, what you need to do is you need to go back to your cache, and there are many different ways to clear the cache in Mautic. I'm very old school. What I usually do is I go into the cache directory, I do rm -rf of everything and I delete the cache. However, you can also go into bin and you can run the console command, which okay, so because we actually logged in through the previous version, I'm getting notices from the previous server. So let's do that again. Over here, you could run the PHP console command, okay, which I think is Mautic cache clear or something like that. I'm not going to run it now, but you can find this command inside any documentation on Mautic itself. And basically, this is the end result over here. So that is basically how you go about setting everything up. I think from me, that's about it. Like I said, we will be putting this information up onto Surge Media probably towards the beginning of next week, where we will have a full tutorial on how to spin up a server, how to install Nginx, how to install MySQL, how to install Java, how to install Metabase, how to configure Metabase, how to set up a reverse proxy, and how to basically get started. The rest is going to be obviously, I'll probably go and integrate this post as well on how to actually go and then bring the Metabase dashboard into your Mautic instance. So if there's any questions, Toby, anybody wants to ask anything, I hope that that was a reasonably understandable tutorial on how to get Metabase up and hey, okay, I actually lost the screen that I was on.
Sorry about that. Okay, so
Okay.
Thank you so much. So much. As in, this is very in-depth and well explanatory and very interesting topic. So we got a few questions. So let me start with the one from Robin. Okay, Robin is asking, does Metabase need to live on its own VPS, or can it share a VPS with Mautic?
So I believe that it probably, if you know how to set up Nginx correctly, you could probably set it up on the same instance, on the same server. I do not know how to set that up correctly. I'm not an Nginx expert or know how to do it correctly, but I would assume that you could probably run it on the same server as well.
All right, perfect. Okay, great. So let's look at another question coming from Ruth. Ruth is asking, what are your thoughts on the direction that Mautic should take when it comes to the reporting and analytic functionalities?
That's a wonderful question, Ruth. Thank you. so let me go in over here. Okay. So one of the thoughts that I have around this is, when we're creating reports inside Mautic, I find them to be a little bit linear. So I cannot connect data from, for example, let's say emails and page hits, or forms and leads. Maybe it's possible to do. Maybe my understanding of how the reporting functionality works over here is limited. However, I don't find the ability to create the kind of reports that I do either using pure raw MySQL or moving to a tool like Metabase, where I can actually go and visualize the data for myself or for my client afterwards. So it would be great to see, some kind of ability to have joins inside the reporting over here, for the reporting to be a little bit more flexible, I think. And the dashboards as well. I think that they are great as a starter, but because the reports and generating reports are limiting, at least for me, I find it hard to provide both myself and my customers the exact KPIs that are more pertinent towards them. I hope that answered your question, Ruth.
All right. If she needs more clarification, I guess she's going to post and she's going to reply that.
Yeah,
Okay. So
and she'll hit me also.
we have another question from Marcel. So Marcel is asking, is there a difference between Mautic version 3 and 4 regards to table names?
Not that I am aware of. I actually, Ruth, or you could probably, ask this question on the forum, but from what I've seen and the tables that I use inside Mautic, I haven't seen a major difference inside the actual architecture of the actual database. However, I do know that the database schema is being updated and being improved with every single version. But the core stuff that we need at the moment, I don't think that there's much difference. But once again, I'm not a database person. I know how to look into MySQL. I know how to play around a little bit over there. I know how to Google stuff. And from what I've seen between Mautic 3 and Mautic 4, I haven't seen much of a difference in terms of the main tables that are being used. I do think that there have been certain columns that have been added, for example. There's a domain generated and certain things that have caused one or two issues along the way, but nothing's major.
All right. So there's another question. So we have another, but before the question, Ruth is saying that's a great feedback from you, and that we are about to start a reporting working group. So it's literally helpful. Thank you. So I also want to ask you, maybe you will like to join that working group. It will be very helpful to join a working group for the that reporting too. Michael,
Okay.
what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm happy to be on the Slack over there, and and give as much time as possible You know, unfortunately, time is the biggest commodity over here. So I do my best to try and sit on the forum, you know, at least a few minutes a day, if not a little bit longer, and try help out over there. But definitely, you know, if someone can give me direction, I'm very, very happy to put some effort in over there. I have posted a link over here inside the chat on how to share the database in a new version of Metabase, and how to get the actual sharing link. But you know, after this, I'm sorry I didn't prepare fully, but after this, I will actually go and see exactly how to do it, and I will update you, and you can update all the participants and maybe add it to the notes of the meeting.
All right. So Alan is asking a question. So Alan is asking, is it possible with Prestashop? Have you tried that before?
No, I have not tried Prestashop, so I'm unfamiliar with it. But you know, if it's an open source piece of software and you can connect up to any database, then you know I don't see why it won't be possible.
Okay. All right. So another question from Robin. Robin is asking, can you monitor multiple Mautic from a single Metabase?
Sorry, can you monitor more than one?
Multiple Mautic instances.
Of course.
Can you monitor
Of course, yeah.
from one single database? From one Metabase?
Exactly. Yeah. So basically, I mean, we run one instance of Metabase, and we are able to connect up to. I mean, you know, it's limitless. You can go in over here. Sorry, you can go in to your admin section over here, and you can add as many databases as you want. So you can really, you know, there's actually no limit to the number of databases that you can connect up to. So if for example, you know, if you have 10 different versions of Mautic out there, you can go and you can add them all to one Metabase, and you can see everything in one screen. I mean, we have, for example, we have a dashboard that is our monitor dashboard, where we actually monitor, you know, the main KPIs for us as service providers of our clients. How many emails they're sending per month, how many contacts they have. So I have a view of all my clients and how many contacts they have per month, and then I have alerts on those views as well. So, for example, if a specific client has gone over the allocated number of contacts, I will get an alert on that, and I can see that all in one dashboard. So, you know, it's limitless, really.
Okay. So another question from Marcel. Marcel is asking, what about Ubuntu instead of Nginx? Would that also work?
Well, so Ubuntu is the Linux flavor. Okay, that's the actual operating system. So in Linux, Linux is the base. It's kind of like, let's say, Windows. Before you have like Windows NT, but it's kind of like DOS of Windows. So you have Linux, and Linux is kind of like Mautic. It's an open source piece of code, and different companies have gone and taken this open source code and added specific features to it and made their own package management of it inside it. So for example, today you have Linux, which is running, for example, on Red Hat. You used to have back in the day SUSE. Today you also have Ubuntu. So Ubuntu is just a flavor of Linux. Nginx is the web server. So you need to look for different web servers out there. So you have either Apache web server, you have Nginx, I think you've got Lightspeed. There are a handful of different web servers out there, but the actual operating system is that I'm running is Ubuntu -A. So you can see Linux, which is Ubuntu, and I think I'm running 22.04, which is the latest long-term support version of Ubuntu out there. But Ubuntu doesn't come with a built-in web server. You need to go and you need to install either Apache or Nginx or one of the others. I think Apache and Nginx are probably the two mainstream web servers out there today.
Okay. All right. That will be all questions. Thank you so
Great.
much Thank you so much. So I'm going to stop sharing your screen so that I can also present and
Okay.
also quickly
Thank you.
complete so that we can end this session today. Okay, just a
Okay.
moment. All right, so just a quick update on the Mautic community. Okay, a quick update for everyone. So let me quickly share. Okay, so Multicon is happening in South America, Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil, to be specific. So mark your calendars. It's going to be early November. So mark your calendars and join the multi community in Sao Paulo in Brazil, early November. So start making plans. We'd like to see you join us at Brazil for the in-person meetup. So last early this month, we had the online conference. So join us for the in-person conference in Brazil, South America. Okay, so during the course of Multic 4 release, Aqua open sourced the custom object. So very soon we'll be having a meetup on how you can use custom object. It's a very, very interesting plugin that you would like to use and want to know more about. Multic 4.4 beta was supposed to be released during this week, but there was a block, and because there was no much hands to help, that is why we haven't seen multi 4.4 beta released. So if you can help, please jump on the product channel on Slack, and then you can be able to assist. So we have the Mautic newsletter. Do well to subscribe. You can use the link mau.tc/mailing list to subscribe to the Mautic newsletter. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody. Kindly join our community. Kindly share our event. Kindly also share the videos we upload on our YouTube. You can also watch previous YouTube sessions. This session is also going to be in YouTube. You can go back there and watch it again. And then also join our meetup.com community. And then on Slack, please do join us. This event is being organized by myself and Favor. Do well to contact any of us in case you like to share feedback or you like to speak in our subsequent ones. And be on the lookout for our next meetup. And then network. So the lounge is open. Please go join the lounge and interact with Michael. I think Ruth is also available. You can interact with Ruth, myself, and other attendees. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Michael. You made this work. You made this happen, and so much appreciate your time, your effort, and your sacrifice. Thank you, thank you,
Thank
thank
you
you. Do
very
enjoy
much.
your evening, and God bless.
Uh-huh. Alawobi,
Yes.
can I share my screen, because I've actually found where the public sharing is, just to
Okay, please do.
point it out quickly. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, in order to be able to publicly share your dashboard, what you need to do is you need to go into admin settings, and over here you have public sharing, and as you can see, it's been turned off over here. So if I turn that on, it is going to make it publicly available. And now let's see if I go to my dashboard, if I can actually get the publicly shareable link. Sharing. Let's see. And there we go. And I'm going to enable sharing over here. And there you go. I'll get my publicly my public link. Now it's coming up as 127 because I actually haven't set up the server correct. I haven't gone and set up SSL and authenticated and done the whole domain. But when you do it, you'll have your actual domain name over here, and you will see everything over here. So that's how to get the publicly shareable link that you would then use inside this article over here. Okay, so I'm sorry that I only found that out now. I should have done a full run through with the new system, and it was a setting that I've left out over here. So there we go. Okay.
All right, great. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. See you at the lounge.
Sure.
Let's come have a chat at the lounge. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Bye bye.